They had to make sure that they were in the clear legally for him to come back. Like there's no way. It's not like they just jumped the gun and said like, oh, let's just take our chances here. Speaking of events in tri-state area, can we talk about this now? I've waited long enough. I wanted to whet the appetite of the MMA hardcores, but the biggest event of the weekend obviously was SummerSlam at MetLife Stadium. I was lucky enough to attend the Saturday event. A friend of mine invited me, and I was very excited to go with my kids. Now, in case you're wondering regarding the illness and whatnot, I was pretty much like,
oh yeah, you were shaking hands.
I was drinking out of like
you were coughing into the
NyQuil.
complimentary chicken tenders.
I was walking in there with like a flask of NyQuil. I was just like, don't mind me, guys.
Unknown illness spreads to attendees of WWE SummerSlam. I'm reading this on CNN right now. Wow.
Two nights. That was debated, criticized by the likes of me and many, many others. SummerSlam was everything that WrestleMania wasn't. SummerSlam was a smashing success. It was such a big success. It was so much fun. It was so good that I think it validated forever doing 2 nights, because I think they really had to knock it out of the park in order to let people know, no, like this isn't going to be like your mundane PLE. This isn't going to be like your run-of-the-mill. Not saying that they tried to do that. No one ever tries to put out a mundane product, but it was so good and had so many big wow moments that now forever they can point, at least for the next 5 or so years, point back to this and be like, no, this is why it makes sense. This is why it is needed. Because night 1 ended with a shock, with a surprise, and night 2 ended with a shock, with a surprise. Night 1 ended with CM Punk defeating Gunther in a fine match, in a fun match. It was entertaining. CM Punk wins the belt for the first time in God knows how long. It was since the last time he was in WWE. He's celebrating, and then all of a sudden, there's Seth Rollins. Now, Seth Rollins injured his knee at Saturday night's main event just a couple of weeks ago, and everyone thought it was a torn ACL. Everyone thought he was out. They were playing it up. He filled in for Rich Eisen on his podcast talking about the injury. His wife, Rebecca Quinn, a.k.a. Becky Lynch, was posting videos of Seth walking around with their daughter on crutches. Then slowly but surely, here's the video in question. People started to think, like, why is there not a lot of information? I'll be honest. People were texting me. Our good friend Tim Simpson threw out a theory to me on text on Thursday or Friday. I think Seth comes back. I'm like, no way. Did you see the way he landed? Did you see that injury? There's no way. That looked 100%. I got worked. I even texted Becky herself and said, how's Seth doing? I'm so sorry. I got worked. And then he shows up, and by the time he showed up and he threw the crutches away, he threw the brace away, we all knew what was going to happen. He cashes in the briefcase, just like he did 10 years ago at WrestleMania. He beats up CM Punk, and then he wins the belt. It was incredible. It was great theater. It was shades of Kevin Nash in the what's the thing, the in the wheelchair, and he had his foot up in a cast, and then he just walked out of it. Of course, that was kind of mocked. This wasn't. It was unbelievable, and it set the tone for night 2, because we all knew night 2, Cody Rhodes, John Cena, what's going to happen. And on Friday, they pretty much had John Cena cut a promo in which he stated, like, the old me is back. It was pretty much their way of letting everyone know, come Sunday, it's the old John Cena. It was pretty much their way of letting everyone know, like, we're pulling the plug on this John Cena heel turn. And you know what? I'm happy they did, because it was a disaster. It didn't work. It didn't work from the get-go. What did I say right after WrestleMania? I gave it some time. Initially, the turn, Elimination Chamber, I said, not as big as Hogan, but a great moment. Where's it going to go with The Rock? Where's it going to go with Travis Scott? Like, we were excited about it, no doubt about it. Once WrestleMania came and went, it wasn't working. Rock didn't show up. There was no payoff. The Travis Scott thing was weird. It felt like he was acting. It felt like he didn't have him in him. And it felt like the people didn't want to boo him. It felt like the people didn't want to hate on the guy in his swan song. And so fast forward to this, it's almost like they course corrected. It's Cena Rhodes. This time they have the great moment. They hug it out. No heel tactics. Clean win. He sails off into the sunset. 4 months left. Solid match. Thought it went a little long, but it was very fun. It was enjoyable. He looked great. Cody looked great. They looked like superstars. Everyone went home happy. It was amazing. But they 100% course corrected. Cena's no longer a heel. And it's weird that this comes out at around the same time as WWE Unreal, which I've now watched 4 out of the 5 episodes, like 4.5, in large part due to the fact that I was sick as a dog. Thank you very much, Frank. And I have to say, it's much ado about nothing. Yeah, you're getting to see a lot, but it's very calculated. It's extremely calculated. Like everyone, Josh Barnett, all the old timers with their hot takes about this ruining the business, you couldn't be more wrong. They're showing you, and they're showing you just enough to where it's like, oh, wow, this is awesome. But I was talking to a friend of mine who's the mother of my daughter's best friend. She knows nothing about wrestling. Her husband told her to watch it. She's like, oh, now I get it, and now I'm into it. Oh, Chelsea Green is cool. Cody Rhodes is cool. It's for those people. So like this idea that it's going to ruin the business or that it's exposing the deep, dark secrets of the business is hogwash. It's not doing any of that. It will only attract more viewers. But anyway, that coming out, which a big part of it is the heel turn, around the same time that they pretty much pull the plug on the heel turn is interesting, but it was 1,000% the right move. No one wants to see John Cena as a heel. It didn't work out. Whatever happened with The Rock, whatever happened with Travis Scott, whatever, like, well, we may never know. But clearly something happened because they're nowhere to be seen right now. Pull the plug, course correct, allow the last 4 months, if it in fact is the last 4 months of his WWE run, to be him being celebrated. And then what happens is it looks like they're about to go off the air. It looks like it's a nice, fun, beautiful, heartwarming goodbye. And you hear that's not his music. I botched that, but you get the point. The Beast is back. Brock Lesnar is back. Here comes the pain. For the first time in 2 years, SummerSlam 2023, Brock Lesnar, who for a while was persona non grata in WWE because he was named in the lawsuit from Janelle Grant accusing Vince McMahon of shocking, disgusting allegations. Brock not a defendant, Brock not being sued, but named as a participant in all of this. WWE, and rightfully so, distance themselves from him. I always thought at some point he would come back, and here he is coming back. Much to the chagrin of a lot of fans online, much to the chagrin of a lot of WWE media, wrestling media, who also noted that they got rid of the press conferences this week, the post-event press conferences, which I always felt didn't really add anything, which I always felt were very clunky. They're now doing their own post-show, which to me, like everything that they do is controlled, and everything that they do is produced the way in which they want it to be produced. I don't think they need to do the press conferences. Did they get rid of the press conferences because he was coming back on this weekend? Who knows? I don't know. They did not address that. It would seem like a good time to do it, so you wouldn't have to answer it. But I was not, like, I see a lot of people almost offended by them getting rid of the press conferences. I don't think they added anything. The questions were never that great. The interactions were a little bit clunky and awkward. And then you'd sometimes have people ask questions and you'd have characters in character, not trying to break kayfabe, and it just made for an awkward dance. The most interesting stuff came from the interactions with Triple H because he's sort of serving as the Dana White of WWE. He's the figurehead. He's the guy. That's the way they're positioning him, as they should. It makes the most sense to do that. He plays that role perfectly. But I'm not surprised. It always felt to me like they were going to get rid of it at some point. And so did they get rid of it on this particular weekend because he was coming back? Who knows? Maybe we'll find out one of these days. But I also think that there's no way that they didn't, from a legal standpoint, cross all the T's, dot all the I's, make sure to a T that they were in the clear for him to come back. They had to make sure that they were in the clear legally for him to come back. Like there's no way. It's not like they just jumped the gun and said like, oh, let's just take our chances here. And I believe this is a statement from Janelle Grant, who's the one who filed the lawsuit against Vince McMahon. Her representative issued this statement to Sean Ross Sapp of Fightful. Does a great job. Far too long, abuse was allowed to thrive under WWE's leadership. Instead of righting this wrong, WWE has done nothing to ensure those responsible are held accountable. This attempt to sweep misconduct under the rug will backfire. We look forward to the full set of facts, including those about Mr. Lesnar, coming out in a court of law where they belong. But in the meantime, we refer you back to Janelle Grant's updated complaint, which outlines in detail the abuse she endured by McMahon and others while employed at WWE. And so a lot of people are upset about him coming back. In the midst of this, the lawsuit is still ongoing. It has not been settled. It has not been resolved. And yeah, we don't know how it's going to play out. I just feel confident saying they must have. I saw Dave Meltzer report this, that it was around 4 weeks ago that the WWE legal team gave the okay for him to return. Was I surprised to see him back yesterday? Sure. But I always felt like Brock Lesnar was going to come back. Was anyone like blown away that he came back? Like, did anyone think that they would sever ties with him forever?
No.
Right?
Well, no, unless something new developed. And since nothing new had developed to that point, I was not surprised that he'd be back.
Right.
But now, like, just based on this statement here from Janelle Grant's rep, like, maybe there is something more. So we'll see. But without anything new to discuss or report, I am not shocked at all that Brock Lesnar is back.
This is from the New York Post. It's the former UFC champion's first time on the company's programming since his name came up in allegations made against the former WWE boss McMahon, made by ex-employee Janelle Grant. She accuses him of sexual assault and sex trafficking. Grant filed the suit in January of 2024. Lesnar's last appearance was in the summer of 23. The original complaint did not include Lesnar's name, only referencing a world-famous athlete and former UFC heavyweight champion who McMahon was trying to sign at the time. Lesnar, who is not a defendant in the case, was officially named by Grant in federal court in an amended complaint in February. Grant accused McMahon of asking her to create personalized sexual content for Lesnar in July of 2021 during his contract negotiations. She also alleges McMahon flew Lesnar to Connecticut in 21 for a sexual encounter that ended up not happening. McMahon's attorney, Jessica Rosenberg, called Grant naming Lesnar in the suit a publicity stunt in February. And yeah, essentially since that point, he was persona non grata. And so now he's back. And so yes, I would imagine that someone would have asked, Paul Levesque this question at the post presser, and maybe this is why, but I know that they were not enamored with those press conferences. Like I knew that they were going to come to an end. Again, the timing isn't great, obviously, but I don't think that they were as crucial to the product, or at least like the wheel spinning, as they are in boxing or MMA or NFL or NBA. It always felt like just like an awkward dance. I don't know really how to quite describe it.
Well, has there been any memorable moments from a press conference, WWE press conference? Like, I'm trying to think of one. I know they were doing them, but I'm trying to think, like, was there ever a moment produced at one of these things where we're like, wow, this is...
Yeah, there was a CM Punk one that I remember going.
Well, there was the CM Punk one from AEW where he went off on everyone.
Yeah.
And truth be told, it's not like it's been happening for decades. It's probably like a last 3-4 years type of thing. The only real memorable moments, I would say, were clunky moments. Like when Paul Levesque was asked about the Vince McMahon case, or when Cody Rhodes was asked and he gave a great answer. Things like that. But like nothing where it was like, oh, wow, this gave us great insight. And again, let me just be clear. Like, I'm not defending them getting rid of the press conferences. I'm just telling you, I never really watched those and found them to be
valuable.
Well, the rules of engagement are completely different. They can literally sit there and lie to you.
Yeah.
Because it's part of an entertainment product.
Some are in character, some aren't in character.
But even if they were not in character, they can literally just lie to you, because what are the repercussions of that? There is no accountability on anything that's said in any of these press conferences, because it's not actually a press conference. It's part of an entertainment product. It is still part of the show that is going on, that is just continuing further into it. They can be fully not in character and then say, oh, well, the storyline changed, or this changed, or that changed. There's no actual factual based information that needs to be kind of like had in this setting. If WWE wanted tomorrow, they could replace these press conferences with a fully faked press conference where they have fake reporters asking fake questions to the characters, and it would be exactly the same level of credibility, because the people at the dais do not have any obligation to say something factual. So it's just this weird dance. Like, it just doesn't quite make sense.
If I were running WWE, what I saw this past weekend as far as the post shows are concerned, and I know that GC was locked in, I would lean more towards that than the press conference.
Sure.
There you can control the whole thing. You bring up who you want to bring up. You ask them whatever you want to ask them. You control the message. You go in a certain like kayfabe, non-kayfabe direction. There's a crowd behind you. Like, it's just a much better product.
Well, tell me if I'm right about this. It felt like a few years ago, let's call it 3 to 5 years ago, there was more of a wanting to be more a sports product. And that has kind of dissipated, and now it is back to more of an entertainment product, right? The signing of a Cain Velasquez made a lot more sense when it was like, okay, we're going to go to a sports product. We're going to get a guy who's a real, actual fighter and say, okay, this guy's going to come in and deliver some damage to a guy like Brock Lesnar. Or the signing of Jimmy Smith as a fight broadcaster, or Morrow, or these people.
Yeah.
That doesn't seem to be the case anymore. And so that feels like a product of a bygone era where this, like, we want to blur the lines between sports and entertainment is now like, hey, we're just doing entertainment and we don't necessarily need that part.
Yeah. Yeah, well said.
So
Did you guys enjoy SummerSlam?
I did not watch live.
I loved it. I check in, like, they showed a recap from WrestleMania, and it was like 4 months ago. I was like, wow. It's only 4 months since I watched WWE, and like when I check in on these like massive events, it's always wildly entertaining, and I don't feel like I have to be fully caught up with the storyline. I feel like you can just get caught up from a few tweets or highlights online.
100%.
I watched.
They do an amazing job of that. Like they
packages?
set the table just before,
Yeah.
and you're like, oh shit.
You could just be a major event watcher, and
That's pretty
there's
much
a
what
lot
I
of
am.
filler. You could be a hardcore fan and enjoy it all, but like you could just pop in every month or every like quarter and be
4 months.
okay. You know what I mean? This to me was infinitely better than WrestleMania.
No question about it. At the ending of WrestleMania,
interesting.
I was like,
Okay.
damn, that's it?
Yeah.
We're done?
Was the Cena thing WrestleMania when he
Yeah.
turned?
Yeah, what was
Yeah.
WrestleMania?
No,
Remind me.
I thought that
WrestleMania
was good, no?
so he turned at Elimination Chamber March
Yeah.
1st.
Oh, sorry.
And then he's bad guy leading up to WrestleMania.
Oh, no, was that the Rock one?
Rock didn't show up.
No, there was no Rock.
Oh,
It was
we're all
was
like,
no
where's
payoff.
Travis Scott? At the end, we're like,
Yes.
where are all the
yeah,
people?
yeah.
It was Travis Scott. He beat Cody Rhodes. They went off, and then it was just like, and that's it. That's
That's
the
it.
scene from WrestleMania.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
No
I was
closure.
actually,
Yeah.
Massive letdown.
because of the WrestleMania and nothing really crazy that happened, the Brock coming out caught me so off guard that it was like this huge shock. I was like, oh my God.
Yeah.
Wow.
Same.
And it was interesting because on Saturday Seth comes out, and in this current climate where everyone's like they're giving up too much, and I know there were some rumors out there, but I don't go on a lot of the websites. I've kind of taken.
Sorry, what does that mean, Ariel? They're giving up too much. What does that
Oh,
mean?
it's because of the Unreal stuff. They're giving it like
Okay,
they're blurring the lines too much. There's no kayfabe. There's no secrecy anymore. There's no surprises.
Okay.
All that stuff. I will admit I thought the Seth Rollins thing was a legit injury, and so for him to come out once he came out again, like I said, once he came out, I knew what was happening. But I was arguing with people like, no, of course. Like, did you guys see the way he fell? The way he fell looked like someone who had just severely injured their knee. And so for them to swerve us like that, and even like the thing with the daughter, the video, like using social media in that way, was great. It was fun.
I'm not gonna
I
lie.
didn't know.
Until he dropped the crutches, I
Yeah,
thought he was actually injured.
Oh, really?
Yeah, 1000%,
same here.
man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, once he came out with Paul, I was like, oh, okay, they're doing this with
But-
the briefcase.
No, I was like,
and the
They've
catch
brought
thing.
them out, they've brought guys out before just to cut the promo, so I get
Yeah.
that.
I thought it was like a,
That's just-
fuck you, punk. I'm coming for your
yeah,
belt as
yeah.
soon as I'm healthy.
Yeah, but
Yeah, I was like, they're setting up the next thing.
But
But
if
they're not going to do
Ariel's
anything
just
right
a
now.
more
Nah, but if it's-
educated.
He's a
wrestling
nuanced
fan than
viewer.
us,
He's a
you know?
nuanced viewer.
if it's an ACL injury, like you wouldn't do that with 8 months left. You know what I mean? What's the point?
We aren't thinking on that level, mate. We aren't.
Yeah.
We're just going.
When he
there,
came
there,
out,
man.
I was like, oh.
By the
guys,
way-
I was trying to explain to my kids quickly, like, Seth Rollins is here. Forget about the traffic.
What they say?
They're like, okay, there's a guy outside giving Minimade, like free Minimade plans. Can we go get that?
Hey,
I was
Dad,
like,
Tatsuro
wait,
Tyra's about to start.
wait a second.
Shut up, Dad.
Yeah.
Shut up.
Wait a second. Seth, he's back. The innovator.
By the way, on the like giving up too much thing, it's all kayfabe. Even that is kayfabe. We have to stop pretending that like WWE is like willingly just letting people inside and not going to work them even via this thing.
Oh, I'm
It's
sure in
all
Unreal
work.
they're like, okay, we're going to do this in front of the cameras now.
Yes.
And now we're going to talk about the real
Yes,
shit.
100%.
And I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that.
Something blew my mind in terms of this kayfabe stuff the other day. Our old friend Bill Simmons, a friend of yours, Ariel, friend of mine.
Yeah.
He's talking to Cody Rhodes, and he's talking about one of your favorites, Wrestling with Shadows.
Oh yeah.
And then Cody says, "Yeah, but do you ever think that was all a work too?" And I was just sitting there going, "What the fuck?" Oh, it's like my mind is blown. Like as in that documentary where we see, we don't see, but allegedly Vince McMahon takes a shot from Bret. You see him walking out all groggy, and I'm like, were they working us with that?
No, they weren't.
Crazy.
The crazier part to me of that interview, which was a fantastic interview, was when he said he doesn't himself know when kayfabe ends. When he said, one of the craziest questions he's ever been asked is like, how do you know like when you're out of kayfabe? And he's like, I don't. Like sometimes I think I'm giving a genuine answer, and it's not. Like he doesn't have an understanding of.
This
where
goes back
that
to the
ends.
Hogan thing, right?
Yeah.
Like you were never talking to Terry Bollea. You were always talking to Hogan / Terry.
Is
when
there
you were
an
doing...
end point of these two characters? And it seems like Cody was basically like, he doesn't know if he has that.
And by the way, Pete, you bring up a great point. Wrestling with Shadows came out in like '98. Beyond the Mat, which if you haven't seen Beyond the Mat, please go out.
Great.
Like that's true, non-kayfabe, breaking kayfabe. And so the idea that Unreal is going to ruin the business, why? Just because WWE produced it or Netflix produced it in conjunction with WWE? Like this stuff has been out already. We've seen the inner workings. Okay, maybe we didn't get like, oh, here's gorilla position and this is the guy talking to the referee. These are all just little things. I didn't enjoy SummerSlam less because I watched that 2 days prior. And I will say for a kid, like I'm not showing my kids that. Like I think I might have said this last week. I was hiding it from them. I didn't want them to see that. And they asked me like, oh, what's WWE Unreal? I'm like, oh, it's just a documentary. And that was enough. So I don't think that should be for kids. But if you're in your 30s, 40s, like allow them to still enjoy it. Even though when I'm watching it with them, they're so annoying. What about that? That's not real. Oh, what about that? That didn't really hurt him. What about that? What about this? Oh,
man.
Like the whole time. I'm like, will you shut up already?
Come on.
Your Squid Game isn't Squid Game isn't real either. And like, well, it's not in front of people. They're not pretending like it's real. I'm like, no, it's pretending nothing. Okay, it's just entertainment for goodness sakes.
Bring GC and Rick next year, yeah. Fuck's sake.
Yeah, seriously. Even my daughters now. Well, look at the skits. Why are they talking like that? And why is he standing there?
God.
And why does he hit him right there?
I'm
like,
They're haters.
I watched
They're
last
such
night
haters.
with the kid that like can never give wrestling like its full due. He's always just like,
oh yeah.
Hey, credit to him, that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
And then every time it looks fake, he's like, it's just so fake. It's like, I know, man. I know.
I'm
You don't
glad
have
I
to
watched by myself.
It's better that way.
just have fun. Just have fun. Anyway, I thought they course corrected. I thought they did a great job. I thought it was infinitely better than WrestleMania. I can understand why people are upset over the Brock return. Let's see how that plays out. But the Seth thing to me was the highlight. I thought that was like wrestling at its finest. Injury on the product. We think he's out. He comes back. He cashes in. It's a shocker. That was good stuff. Thanks for watching this video. Before you go, if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button for us. Also, give us a thumbs up, leave a nice comment. These things go a long way. And while you're here, do check out the rest of the channel. We've got live shows and full interviews, clips, and a whole lot more. We're doing big things here, and we appreciate your support very much.